Hey, how's it going everyone? This is DCSG81 and today I'm going to do a comparisons between this SH Figuarts The Avengers Endgame Thor versus this Marvel Legends The Infinity Saga Avengers Endgame Thor. Okay, so given a few years back, if I were to do a comparisons between the SH Figuarts and the Marvel Legends, I think a lot of you guys will be laughing at me and say, hey DCSG, isn't it the result is obvious that the SH Figuart is a lot more superior than the Marvel Legends? Well, that's not the case in the recent year because the Marvel Legends have improved so much and the SH Figuarts has been slacking. Yep, so I think the the level of both is currently like, you know, almost on par with each other. So I think it's fair for us to do a comparisons, and let's begin. Okay, like always, I will start off with the overall look of the figure, and as we can see, yeah, I think a lot of you guys will be noticing on the scale, but I'll go through that later. So from here we can see the costume is pretty much the same, except that I noticed for this area here, we can see the design is slightly different, and I have checked out some of the pictures. I think that the SH Figuarts one is more accurate in terms of this portion here is supposed to be thinner. It's not as fat as this one. But as for his pants, I noticed they are rather different as well, as you can see both of them. So this design over here is accurate to the movie because I have seen some pictures and it does have this portion here whereby the SH Figuarts doesn't. But at the same time in the movie, it doesn't have this gold lining that we can see on the Marvel Legends. It's just plain black. Yeah, so this you can say that it's accurate but is inaccurate at the same time, and the rest of it looks pretty much the same. Let's compare with the beer guts. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier in my review for this guy, I think his beer gut is more prominent looking as compared to this one. Is just a slightly one. So I think this one does looks slightly better in terms of the overall look. Yeah, just for the costume, but of course the SH Figuarts will be better looking as a figure because of the fabric clothing for his cape. Yeah, as for this one, we can see that is still the soft rubber kind. Yep, but this is not all superior because they didn't include any of the bandy wire, and this portion here is open, so it's pretty odd looking there as well. But still a good looking cape because it's all fabric. It brings out the best of the figure. And I do know that a lot of you guys would like to stop me now and says that this is not the best Thor to compare with this guy here, because SH Figuarts have released another one which is the Battle Damage, which have the same glowing eyes as this guy, but unfortunately I didn't get that because it's pretty much the same as this guy except for the additional head with these glowing eyes and also the some electrical effects that comes with that. Other than that, is basically the very same figure. Okay, I'm not sure if they actually improved the cape on that Thor because I didn't have that. Yeah, maybe they did add a bandy wire, or maybe they did sew up this place here. Yeah, I'm not so sure, but I know as a figure itself is pretty much the same. Okay, yeah, so in terms of the overall look, again, let's see. Yep, I did complain about the short hair for this guy because it looks like it should be longer like him. Yep, and there is some pictures that you can see. Yeah, this guy, the hair fringe or whatever you call it, should be much longer. This looks pretty odd but this one does looks okay. As for the face likeness, I always think that this one does looks like Chris Hemsworth with the face, and this one isn't that bad at all because this looks like him with the eyes glowing as well. So the likeness, both of them are pretty good. The costume wise, I think it's almost the same, but if you want to argue, I think the SH Figuarts will win because of the fabric clothing. Yeah, this is the part that they actually wins, and this one I don't think Marvel Legends will ever give us any fabric clothing for this guy. Yep, so in overall look, I think I will still go for the Marvel Legends, even though this one does comes with a fabric clothing, but this one somehow this looks slightly better to me somehow. Okay, so the next one I would like to compare is the scale of both of the figure, and from here it's very obvious that the Marvel Legends one is a lot taller as compared to the SH Figuarts. But if we were to compare them with the same brand's figure, like the SH Figuarts should compare back with the SH Figuarts, does this guy still look small? Yeah, so this is the questions that I would like to tackle. Let's take a look at some pictures that you can see right here. So from here you can see the Thor with the SH Figuarts Captain America from the Endgame, as well as the Mark 85 from the Avengers Endgame as well. So you can see if we were to compare them with the same brands from the same company, this Thor does looks pretty okay. Yeah, at least he does still have the height over there. But if we were to change to some Marvel Legends now for the two other characters, this Thor looks like a midget. Yeah, he just looks very short as compared to these Marvel Legends. But as we change it to the Marvel Legends Thor now, and if we were to compare back to the Marvel Legends as well, I do think that it looks good, except that the Mark 85 does looks a lot taller because it's almost the same height as this Thor, which I don't think it should be. But if you were to compare this Marvel Legends Thor with the both characters from the SH Figuarts, I think this is the best looks among all, because Thor should be the tallest among them, followed by Captain America and the Mark 85. So we can see some pictures here now as well. So yep, it concludes that Thor should be taller, although Tony Stark looks short, but I believe once he's in the armor he should be slightly taller and bigger as well, so it shouldn't be that much of a difference in terms of height. Yeah, so I do think that this Thor actually matches pretty well with the SH Figuarts Captain America and Mark 85, surprisingly. And this Thor, yes, it is still a little bit short. When it comes to the accessory, this Marvel Legends Thor just comes with one interchangeable hand, which is the hands for summoning his Mjolnir as well as Stormbreaker. But the SH Figuarts one comes with a lot more hands. It comes with 5 pair of hands if I'm not wrong. A closed fist hands, a relaxed hands, and then a pair of hands for summoning the Mjolnir as well as the Stormbreaker, the same as this one. Yeah, very similar. And he also comes with a pair of hands to hold the Stormbreaker, which is this one. And he also comes with another pair of hands just to hold on to the Mjolnir. As you can see, it's rather different hands altogether. Yep, so it comes with 5 pairs of hands. And next, of course, they both comes with the Stormbreaker as well as the Mjolnir. Okay, let's compare the Mjolnir first. Okay, so from here you can see the size is rather different. And the best thing about the Marvel Legends is that they even make it into blue to make it looks like it's charging, and it looks very good. But for the SH Figuarts one, it's just very rather plain. But I must admit that this one does looks good. Just that this one looks better. At least it's something different. And even for the final battle Thor, which I didn't get from the SH Figuarts, they do not change the weapons into the charging ones, even though they have the charging eyes. Yeah, they just give some electrical effects for the Mjolnir. Yeah, but it doesn't look as good as when you change it to look like this. So I must say that again, another well done job from the Marvel Legends to actually think of that. Yep, and let's compare with the Stormbreaker, which this time I would say is that I kind of like the SH Figuarts one more. It looks very detailed, and the best thing is the handle is kind of solid, but this one just looks very flimsy to me. But in terms of look, it just looks okay, but when you hold it on your hand, it just feels cheap, Yeah, but it somehow, like I say again, this one looks more like a frozen Stormbreaker than the charge up Stormbreaker. Yeah, so in this case I would say is that the SH Figuarts one this looks better, yeah, in a way. And the size somehow is rather small for the Marvel Legends, because the Stormbreaker is supposed to be a huge weapons, but it's smaller than the SH Figuarts, which is kind of odd. Yeah, it should be much bigger because the figure wise, the characters is bigger, so I was expecting this to be bigger as well, but it's not. Yeah. And other than that, the Marvel Legends also comes with some electrical effects for the charging up, so I think this is a plus point. Again, this is the wrong Thor to compare with. I should have the Final Battle one because that does comes with electrical effects as well. So let's imagine that this is the other Thor. Okay, so it will have the electrical effects here and the charging up phase. So of course, in that case, in terms of the accessories, the SH Figuarts portion will win. Okay, so next we will go through the articulations for both of the figure, and as we already know in a general knowledge, the SH Figuarts will always have a better articulation as compared to Marvel Legends. Yeah, but in this case for this Thor, I do notice there are some missing things as compared to this guy. For example, I think you will have noticed there are missing bicep swivel for this Thor, as well as a tight swivel. It doesn't have any tight swivels. But if you were to compare with this guy, yep, this SH Figuart does have one thing, the butterfly joints. Okay, this is what this doesn't have, and also it have two articulation points on the chest as compared to just one here, so he can basically turn his waist, but this one doesn't have. And this one does have a pull down mechanisms. Yep, as you can see, for better articulations. Yep, but this guy, of course, he doesn't have any. And what else? A toe hinge. Yep, this Thor does have a toe hinge, and this Marvel Legends doesn't. And because of the 2-point articulations, this Thor can actually, bend a lot more as compared to this guy who can just bend like this. So it's very obvious that the SH Figuarts one does articulate better, just that it's missing the bicep swivels and the tight swivels. Yep, other than that, I think he's a lot better in terms of the overall movement and posability. This guy, yeah, it's not that good, but I still think that is good enough for some poses because Thor is not Spider-Man. He doesn't need to do any dynamic poses like how Spider-Man used to do. So I do think that this Thor is still sufficient enough for many of the poses that he can do. Yeah, I think the SH Figuarts one should still win in terms of the articulations. And in addition, because of the fabric clothing, this SH Figuarts Thor does not have any restrictions that will be caused by the fabric like this guy here. But even though this one is a plastic, I don't think that it actually cause him cannot do anything. Maybe just sitting down because he can't really sit because of the this plastic cape, as you can see. But this guy can just sit however he wants to. Yeah, so it does have some possibility restrictions there as compared to this guy. In the next section, I would like to talk about durability for both of the figure, which means that how much you can actually play with them before they start breaking up. Okay, so for the SH Figuarts, we all know that is of top quality. The quality is very good, the joints, everything is well. As for the Marvel Legends, so far I think is pretty good as well. I have not have any problems with Marvel Legends joint breakings or legs breaking off or the arms breaking off. Yeah, so both of these figures, I would think that is still a very good top-notch durability. But in this case, if you were to compare both, and if you were to choose one, I would still say that the Marvel Legends has a better durability, because at least I have still seen some cases whereby some people might still break something on SH Figuarts, but so far I have not seen anyone that complains about the breaking joints on the Marvel Legends. Maybe that's just me. But on a side note, there's something that I would like to add on as well. As the times goes by, we all know that the Marvel Legends joints, especially on the legs, will start to get loosened. If you were to play with it like very frequently, it will start to have some loose joint. Not to the extent that it will start breaking off, but it will start to get loose. But for the SH Figuarts so far, it's either you break it or you don't have have anything wrong with it, because so far I don't think that anyone has any loose joint with SH Figuarts so far. I may be wrong, but yeah, that's just me. I have a lot of SH Figuarts which have like over 2 to 3 years now, and their joint is still very good. In terms of the tightness, yeah, everything is still good. I have not have any loose joint. But for the Marvel Legends, on some of my figures, I can see that, yeah, the poses when I try to do a lot of times, like the bending the hands, they will start to get loose as the times goes by. Yeah, so this is something bad in terms of the Marvel Legends. But still, I think in terms of durability, yeah, I think the Marvel Legends one will still fare better. Maybe I'll just make it simple. If you were to drop both of the figure from a very high floor, I think the higher chance of one's breaking will be the SH Figuarts one as compared to this guy. I think it will still stay intact as one piece. Okay, so next I would like to talk about the packaging. As you can see, I still have the Marvel Legends box here, but for this guy, I have already thrown away the box quite some time ago because I don't keep boxes. Yeah, so for that box, I can show you some pictures now. Yeah, it's pretty small for this guy here, but if you are talking about the final battle Thor, is a lot bigger because it has many more accessories like the electrical effects. But then again, if I were to choose one, I will go for the SH Figuarts boxes, because those boxes does looks a lot more premium when it comes to, you know, if you are those that who doesn't open their figure, I think the SH Figuarts boxes will look much better. And lastly, I would like to talk about the pricing for both of the figure, and I guess you already know the answer. The SH Figuarts one, of course, is a lot more pricey compared to the Marvel Legends. To buy this guy, maybe you can get 2 to 3 of this guy. Yeah, so the price is high. But this Thor is the price is dropping for this guy ever since the release of the final battle Thor. So this guy is not expensive now, it's pretty cheap. Yeah, but if you were to get the final battle one, that one of course is a lot more expensive. But for Marvel Legends, is still the cheapest among them. Yeah, so if you are on a tight budget, I do think that this Marvel Legends Thor is a very good buy. So for the final verdict among the 7 things that we have compared, the SH Figuarts wins by the accessories, the articulations, as well as the packaging. But as for the Marvel Legends, it wins in terms of the overall look, the scale, the pricing, as well as the durability. So it's 3 versus 4. Okay. Yep. So of course in this case, the Marvel Legends wins by 1 point. Yeah, this is just my very own comparisons. Of course you can disagree with me, but I still think that this Marvel Legends Thor deserves to win this comparison, because as you can see from here, with the cheap price point, you can get a very good looking Thor. Yep, even the SH Figuarts, I really do think that they should be ashamed. They should really improve this guy, giving us a better looking Thor. But no, even this one and the final battle Thor is exactly the same figure, which is quite disappointing. They should have taken the chance to improve that guy into something like this. Okay, so the next comparison, of course, it will be the one from the Mayfax. I think that one will be a lot more superior, a lot more premium, because again of the price point, that Thor is pretty expensive. So right now I would love to hear from you. What's your thoughts about this comparison? Is it a fair fight? Do let me know your thoughts down in the comment sections below. So hit the thumbs up button if you like this comparison, share with your friends if you want to, and of course subscribe to my channel. I have new video up almost every day. But if you can't wait for the next video, do check out my channel. I have over 680 videos by now, and I'm pretty sure there will be something that will catch your attention. And I will see you again in my next video. As always, stay safe, take care, and thank you for watching.